What's going on, everybody? I'm here with the man, the legend at the iconic Atilis Gym here in Bellmawr, New Jersey. Ian, bro, what's up?
What's up, man? How are you? I'm glad you came.
This is insane. So, obviously, I've been in New Jersey a lot, but
Sorry to hear that.
I never thought I'd be standing in Bellmawr at probably the most well-known gym in the country right now. And what's really great, we actually spent about an hour talking about everything that's going on. And I gotta say, I don't idolize many people at 40 years old. I just don't. But I honestly am the biggest fan of what you guys have done, because as you know, because we've had conversations, I'm a proud American. Our Constitution is what keeps this country together.
That's what this was all about.
And you were literally thrust into a spotlight and become the spokesperson for freedom because you simply wanted to keep your small business open.
Yeah. You know, when Frank and I made the decision to stay open, it was in small part about the gym, but the bigger picture was the fact that no matter what the parameters were, it didn't matter if we were a gym or a hair salon or whatever, the fact that government was stepping into our lives and telling us, you're not allowed to provide for your family until I say so, was a major red flag for us. So, you know, we were looking at how it all played out, and it was very political, very fast. You know, if this thing turned out to be anything what Dr. Fauci said it would, 2.2 million dead was the original prediction by summertime. If it was anything like that, it would have been very different. But they were inflating numbers. They were just playing politics, and we weren't going to let our lives and the lives of the people that we care about, whether that be our friends and family, our local community, or the country as a whole, be ruined by people with bad intentions. So we took our stand.
So you're here right now. You're being fined daily.
$15,000, $15,500 something odd dollars a day. Frank knows the numbers. He's the numbers guy.
He just gave me the numbers to the penny. I honestly don't know, and I speak like our business, we had to go through this discussion with our businesses, and thankfully, and I said this as someone who should be rooting for lockdowns, we're essential, whatever essential means. I hate that word, in that we are internet and grocery, we're considered essential, and I'm sitting there and I should be yelling at people to stay inside, stay locked down, because it's helping us. That's very selfish. I think these lockdowns, all these mandates, are the stupidest, most short-sighted things in the history of this country. I honestly feel that making our kids go through school emotionless, not being able to smile at one another for an illness that has killed nearly zero. I say nearly zero because it's such a small margin with comorbidities. Nearly zero. They have a 0% chance of dying, of having any ill effects. And we're making it so our kids are going to school emotionless, not being able to smile at one another, not being able to play sports in many states.
Not afraid to, or not allowed to interact with each other. They're being taught to be afraid of each other.
I'm in the great state of Tennessee, which I think's done it more right. My son's teachers doing their best. They have plastic dividers in between them. We're being taught that people are not clean, that our fellow citizens
We're being taught that this is dangerous.
Look, like I'll take it a step further, man.
But seriously, that's scary, because you got people walking around, even adults, buying into this nowadays, where, you know, I'm walking around the store without a mask on, and you see people with their cart, you know, like walking away like as if I'm some threat to them, just because I'm another person. They know nothing about me, where I've been, and it's, especially with the kids, I think this is something that people need to wake up to and really start thinking about the long-term effects of a lot of this stuff.
They've weaponized the human face. They've literally weaponized the human face.
It's ridiculous, but it's true.
Where this used to be when you used to go in a store, I remember I took a sales course in my 20s, and I remember they said that your main form of interaction, of getting someone, of invoking emotion, is to smile at them. And we can't do that anymore. And why is that? Why are they preventing us from interacting with one another? Why are we suddenly seeing a correlation with that, and uprisings in the street, and people fighting amongst one another, and racism? Like, why are we seeing all that? I can't help but see something, and I hope to God they're either really nefarious or they're really stupid, because they're really playing into all of this. And the reason I was so motivated to come here is you've actually put up a stand. You've put up a fight. A lot of people complain on Twitter. A lot of people complain on Facebook. You actually said, no, we're not shutting down. You kicked down your own door. So what separates you from that guy?
Honestly, that's a question me and Frank asked a lot. You know, when we made the choice to reopen our business, what we thought was going to happen was that we would inspire every other business in the state of New Jersey to do the same thing. We were going to stand up, we were going to take the first couple punches, show everybody that it was all right, you know, that government couldn't hurt us, in the hopes that people would be inspired to open. And if that would have happened, this whole thing would have fallen apart overnight. But it didn't. People are scared. People are scared of government. And that's something that I think really, really needs to be revisited, because people shouldn't fear the government should fear the people. Somewhere along the line, we lost that. America was founded on those principles, that the government is there to serve the people and that the government should fear the people, because the people are the ones who hold the power. Somewhere along the line, we've lost that. Government no longer fears us. We fear the government for what they'll do to us for disobeying them. It's not supposed to work like that. The American system was not built on that. It was not built to be this big, sprawling government that tells you what you can and can't do and wants to mandate your health and mandate your education and mandate all these things. Government is supposed to protect the institutions that keep you free. That's it.
So we have all this new information, right? We have all this new data. I saw one data on the CDC's website that you have a 0.02% chance of dying, which I believe is equivalent to or less than an actual lightning strike hitting you and killing you. It's right in that.
I got more of a chance getting in a car accident on the way home.
So we have speed limit of 70 miles an hour. If we really cared about lives, it would be 20. But we have to get places, so there has to be a compromise. At the beginning of this, again, you talk about the great Dr. Fauci, who estimated 2 million plus people. So we're looking at all the stuff coming down, lockdowns. We actually have comparison states. We have South Dakota, we have Tennessee, Florida lifting all lockdowns.
All restrictions today.
And their numbers are actually better than what the media hails as a success story, which is Cuomo in New York.
Which is the single biggest failure in government, I think, in the past 50 years.
History.
I mean, yeah, you could even go further. What they did in the policy making for nursing homes is nothing short of, in a best case scenario, extremely stupid. In a best case scenario, extremely stupid, and in a worst case scenario, downright devious. They put sick people around vulnerable people when they had beds available. And a lot of them, the politicians who made that decision, took their own parents out of those nursing homes, knowing what a danger it was. And to me, that's something that these people should be held accountable for.
That's mass murder.
And then they tout the numbers and talk about how scary this is, knowing what they've done. And they put it on small businesses as the villains. Your local hair salon, your local gym, your local trampoline park is touted as this place that spreads the virus and kills people, when in reality it was the decisions that they made that are responsible for over 50% of the deaths in the United States as a whole. And in states like New Jersey, upwards of 60.
So why do you think, with all this information out there, are people too lazy to get it? Is it a form of elitism? Like, I have a mask, you don't, you're dirty, you're wrong. Is it people trying to fit in? Are people afraid to be the one guy without a mask? Is it a combination of all of those? Why are people literally doing Nazi Germany stuff, ratting out their own neighbor for having parties, for being normal? What has happened to our country where our citizens have become such pieces of shit? Are they that scared of the virus, or is it simply another form of elitism? Is it another form of power? Like, what does it give? Does it give people who suck the opportunity to come to people like us, who obviously go out and if we see something, we attack it in life, and we are go-getters and we're business owners? Does it give the average everyday loser an opportunity to come at us and say, you're not wearing a mask, you want to kill old people? What is it? I'm just.
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. You know, Thomas Jefferson said the greatest threat to a democracy is an uneducated public. And I think that's a huge part of this. I think people are either not informed or ill-informed. You know, but that's their responsibility. That's the individual's responsibility to educate yourself. That's nobody's responsibility except your own. And a lot of these people are very complacent. They turn on the news, they read a quick headline, they scroll through Facebook and see a clickbait headline, and it already validates the beliefs that they have that have been ingrained in them from watching too much television, from believing every media source without fact checking it. And that's just a snowball effect. You know, these people dig that hole deeper and deeper. A lot of these people don't want to discuss ideas. They want to attack character because they don't even understand how to have a normal, rational discussion. I think a lot of it is laziness and stupidity, you know, but I think a lot of it also is people who don't want to work. People who would prefer a government that hands them money because they don't want to be competitive. You know, but competitiveness is part of the American dream. That's what all of our ancestors came here for. You know, whether you came in the 1700s, the 1800s, or somebody like my dad. You know, I'm a first generation. My dad came off the boat from England. My dad came here because he wanted to make, you know, a life for himself. My grandparents came here because they wanted to make a life for themselves. Because this was a place where everybody was on a level playing field, and as long as you work, you'll get somewhere. But I don't think everybody wants to work. I think a lot of people are okay with that $600 a week paycheck, you know, that they didn't earn. You know, and that's stealing a quote from my good friend Andy Frisella. I told you earlier.
Great guy.
Our freedoms were sold for $600 a week by people who didn't want to work. So they sold their freedom for $600 a week to stay home, shut up, and wear a mask. And in selling their own freedom, they sold ours too. And when he said that, that hit me harder in the chest than anything anybody said in a really long time.
Very true. I'm looking around this gym, and I see Americans without a mask, every color, every gender, everything, getting together, lifting, healthy, active. We have a society that, we have a disease or a virus that hits people with comorbidities. And we literally have, in addition to diet, maybe some supplementation of vitamins, hydration, sunlight. We literally have, maybe not the cure, but a hell of a treatment. And this is what the government says is causing it. And I'm looking around, and they like to turn everything into a race issue, everything into a demographic issue, an earnings issue. I bet you there's guys in here who make $1 million a year, and probably guys in here who might not make $1 million in their lifetime. Yet here we are, in this gym that has unwillingly or unknowingly become the epicenter of our battle for freedom. So here's what I ask you, here's why I came. First of all, I had to come here, shake your hand. Not many people I get goose pimples to talk to, okay?
Thank you.
First of all, you are the epitome of the American dream because you're fighting it. And we can do the best we can every day, but you're actually doing it. So as a man who's actually done it, what can we do? Okay, maybe not me. What can the average person do to help fight this? What can we do every day?
It starts in your community. It really does. It starts in your neighborhood. It starts with your friends, your family. The first thing is, this is, in my belief, an all-out attack on the middle class of America. You know, the way small business works, every shop in this center is a small business. When you come to this gym and you pay your $24 a month, we pay our employees with it, we pay ourselves with it, that money gets filtered back into the community, right? Now, for every small business that closes, you now go shop at a big box store. So if we shut down, LA Fitness won't. So all those memberships go to LA Fitness. And when you pay your 30, 40, whatever a month at LA Fitness, that money never comes back to this community, ever. they might pay a couple people who live locally, but that money goes right up the food chain, right to the corporate interests, right to the politicians, and right to the lobbyists. And I think that's by design. I think that's why small businesses were kept closed and big box retail was allowed to be open. Because there was nothing that Walmart ever did from day one that we haven't done and done better. You walked in the front door here.
Yeah.
Temperature checks, touchless entry system. We have spray bottles for every member who walks in. We have a UV air scrubber. We have new HVAC systems with filters. You name it. We went above and beyond. There's nothing that Walmart did that we didn't do or couldn't do. But they've been allowed to profit while 30% of small businesses have closed their doors forever. So it starts with supporting small business. You know, don't shop on Amazon. Go to your local grocer. You know, buy your supplements from a guy like Pat at Aries or me and Frank here at Rock Bottom. Don't order them off of Amazon. You know, support people who are striving to stay open. Because once these businesses close, it's not guaranteed that they'll ever reopen. Number two, take the fucking mask off. Take the fucking mask off. Anybody tells you to put a mask on, tell them to go fuck themselves.
We don't need to go over the data on the masks, but
that's a big one because that's what's driving the fear.
If you've ever seen a virology lab, you'll see they wear a full hazmat suit. That bandana isn't doing a fucking thing for you. So I agree, take off the mask.
Take off the mask, just stop playing into everything that they want to play into. Stop being afraid of people. Get within 6 feet of somebody. Go play some fucking contact football. Like stop buying all this and start living your life the way that you lived it in February of 2020 and January of 2020 and every month before that. There's nothing to be afraid of. And the more that people start taking the mask off, start disobeying these scienceless mandates, the more the next person's going to do it and the next person's going to do it. And just like I said, if every small business in the country opened up at 100% capacity with no restrictions, this whole thing would fall apart. If everybody starts doing it on an individual level, this whole thing falls apart. But it can't just be one person here, like the woman in Ohio that got arrested yesterday. You know,
everybody watched.
Everybody
watched. Was that a rent-a-cop or a real cop? I couldn't tell.
He arrested her, he didn't have a mask on.
Yeah. He didn't have a mask on.
He arrested her for not having a mask on and had his mask down. You know, so it's about stepping up. You know, use your voice. Never in a million years. You would have asked me in February of this year if I thought I could have any impact on the country in the level that Frank and I have had. I would have laughed. But we did. And all we did was the right thing. And the right thing always prevails. But you got to do it. You can't wait for the next person to do it. The right thing isn't going to happen by posting on Twitter, on Facebook. The right thing's going to happen by you getting out there and doing it and saying, no, I'm not wearing the mask, or my kid's playing soccer, or whatever it is. And it sounds oversimplified, but that's it. This whole thing is a house of cards.
I want to say one thing that I don't ever do on my YouTube channel, but I will. I do it on Twitter, which is a different world for me. We have an opportunity, a very important election coming up. And I'm going to say that I'm a big fan of world peace and Middle East, and that's gone really well. We have 2 peace treaties in the Middle East, which my mom actually served in the Israeli Defense Force, so I know the history of that. We have a presidential candidate who's literally riding around in a bike outside with a mask on. I'm surprised he can even walk at this point. And then we have another guy who wants to end all of this and who I think was forced into doing it. I think this is imperative for me to throw my hat in the ring. I'm not saying you need to love everything the man stands for, because I certainly don't. I certainly don't. I hated The Apprentice. But I think voting third party is not an option. Jorgensen, waste a vote. Okay?
And I'm a libertarian, and I agree with that.
Jorgensen, it's a waste. This is a very important election, and I don't want to be stumping, but right now I'm very scared of what happens in this country if Biden wins.
You mean if Kamala wins?
Exactly. Kamala. You can't say Kamala, it's Kamala. So I'd hate to be that guy, but I think you need to look at the optics. What was one of his main things to this whole thing? Take off the mask. And I think you're going to see much more of this and much more overreach if we elect somebody who literally is for that, and who also voted against ending segregation, and who also passed a bill that put more innocent
1994 crime bill.
black men in jail than any other bill in the history of the country. If there's ever a time for you to look up, I urge you to vote for who you think's the best.
Do your research.
But I'll tell you what, I'm voting for Trump.
Me too.
That makes two. So I'm in Tennessee, my vote matters. He's in, I'm just playing. So, actually,
my vote is going to wind up in that trash can or on the side of the road in PA.
and another thing I'd like to say politically, big picture, and you said this earlier, which kind of sparked me. I never once in my life voted for a gubernatorial or a mayoral race. You have mayors out there, like the mayor of Nashville, who has literally destroyed a great city, single-handedly. Vote for city council, mayor, alderman, clerk, school board. Vote for every single one of those because they matter. And right now we know more than ever how much they matter. So look, I'll be the first one to say I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm an independent. But right now, if you're looking at which party has done a lot of damage during these lockdowns, has overstepped, look, I'm in the state of Tennessee, I flew into New Jersey. I told you, I was shell-shocked, bro. Y'all wearing masks, everybody's away from each other. You go to Tennessee, people are shaking hands, they're hugging, and guess what? Our cases, even in populous areas, are way better than yours.
The immune system is designed to interact with the world around you, not be in a bubble.
Exactly.
I'm no doctor, but I think Dr. Fauci got that wrong.
I think Dr. Fauci's Anyway, enough about my friend Dr. Fauci. Ian, I'd like to extend a thank you, not just from me, from my business, who you're helping. You might not even know, but you're helping every single business in this country, except maybe Walmart.
Fuck Walmart.
And also I'd like to thank you from everybody from this country. As an American, I think I speak for Matt Morano right over there. I speak for a man right over there. Everybody who came to say hi today. I mean, I'm gonna speak for everybody. We wanna thank you for what you've done here. But with that said, I'm in a gym and I've had pre-workout. There's music playing, there's people, all this energy is infectious, brother. I appreciate everything you've done.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's get a workout in.